been frequent attenders at AEI conferences as well. He's Shibley Rahman, and he's going to do his presentation from the seated position as well.
Move around.
Okay, well that great.
Do you want to switch to go?
Yes.
Yeah. I think this one.
Oh, that one or that one?
I'll
Or
flip
would
that.
you
Musical chairs.
Again, that was not me. Yes, I apologize. But thank you very much to the organisers of ADI for the kind invitation to come here. And my talk follows on brilliantly from Kate's outstanding, very important presentation on where things could be much better. We're talking about enablement and probably a bit of a thought fast to how things have used to be done. My talk is on the level of awareness of international human rights underpinning right-based advocacy in dementia. I'm Shibley Rahman, based in London. I'm an academic physician in dementia, but also a lawyer. Now, in fact, it's probably worth mentioning something about what rights mean, and it's easy to mention rights without actually having clear that what they mean. The late Lord Dawkins, who is for lawyers in the world is well known to you as Professor of Jurisprudence at University College London, wrote a parting short called Justice for Adults. Now, in fact, the idea of rights is one people know what you actually mean by them. Some people think there's an uber universal right that you must not kill somebody, sure, but there are also other rights. And Lord Dawkins came up with the idea of rights as trumps, trump cards, like your joker of what you play when you want to empower yourself with an actionable stance on something, which could be to somebody else's detriment, generally meant to be to the advantage of society, and sometimes there's a bit of a zero-sum game that your right can actually disempower somebody else. That's probably worth bearing in mind. So here's a definition of Lord Dawkins from the other place, Cambridge University, taking those seriously, which defines distinct individuals have interests that they are entitled to protect. Now, social care workers amongst you will know regulatory obligations to enable people and protect if they so wish. And so the idea has come about of a human rights-based approach. Alzheimer's Scotland, Scottish jurisdiction, and it's good to have a speaker from Scotland here. I've been leaders in the right-based approach, and here's the definition of how they've approached it. And I'd like to, if I may, respect that you turn your attention to some key words that people must be aware of their rights. In other words, it's no good that these words simply exist in vacuo, that people must know what their rights are in order to act on them. And this was embodied across all Scottish government policy. From we had the Human Rights Act, we being in England, 1998, Human Rights Act. They had the Scotland Act, 1998. And the first speaker did a brilliant summary of the international instruments which relate to rights, which buzzed me out of having to explain them worse now. So thank you for that. Now, the issue about rights is that I really like to mention rights can be legal as well as moral. In other words, even though South Africa decided that apartheid was illegal, many people found it morally an offence. So there's an idea that irrespective of people being aware of what all these rights are, and can list them and can number them, there's generally a rights-based consciousness, as is shown by this diagram of picture of fence route on Martin Luther King. Now, this means that there's a rights-based consciousness. In other words, people like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Gandhi have not changed things by committee necessarily. They've done things by being leaders. And there needs to be a cultural change. So anyway, nothing much to say here. I don't have any funding to acknowledge, and I work on my own, and I own no budget. So there you go. I have a survey monkey to report with 55 responders. Could be anywhere. Research curious amongst you will realise this could be highly dodgy. It could be anywhere. It could be one person with computers putting in responses. Who knows? But anyway, here's a start. Nobody else is doing it, so why shouldn't I? Sort of thing. So here we go. Here are 4 instruments which will be well known the English jurisdiction amongst you: the Human Rights Act, the Mental Capacity Act, and the United Nations Convention on Rights of People with Disabilities. Well done, TADI, for getting the DAI proposal adopted. This means now has to be implemented with multilateral organisations, a big step forward. And the last one is the Equality Act. And basically, people's awareness of how important they view it as much as, well, actually, UNCRPD a bit slowly behind, probably not significant, but probably worth noting that the general awareness of these acts aren't particularly good. Probably the Human Rights Act is particularly known to English people because the current government wants to scrap it, but that's beside the point. Now, I would like to go on to Europe now. England's in the process of leaving Europe, so I don't know how maybe Scotland might do something different, but who knows. Now this table, I don't want you actually to read it. It's about the European Convention of Human Rights, and I asked people. I made up some words and didn't make up some words, and asked them if people knew whether everything was a genuine right or not. Is personal budgets a right? Don't know. In fact, it isn't right. But the fact that 48% of people thought it could be right does interest me. Is the right to privacy a right? Well, 81%. It's currently a celebrity super injunction of a threesome. Now, I don't know whether that would have informed my type of people who took part in my sample, probably not. But the fact that Article 8 is well known is a good thing. And do people feel there's a right to medical diagnosis? Well, in fact, don't know, yes, much and much. There is no right to diagnosis under European law. So, moving on, most people thought that dementia is a disability, which in fact it is under our legislation, 2010 regulation to the Equality Act. And Peter Miller, the Human Rights Advisor to DAI, has been a huge proponent for this, and we've seen the results of his brilliant work this week. And I strongly recommend you read this from December 2015 in the ADL newsletter. Ireland have latterly embraced a rights-based approach, as I picture from 2 weeks ago, and probably the one of the 5 panel components, principles. What is panel? Well, P is for participation. I don't like the word involvement, can be mamby, but participation is a right for people to be involved in policy. Accountability, if somebody doesn't act on a promise to uphold rights, you can sue them or something, claim against a local authority. Non-discrimination and quality, just in front. It relates to the last one, which is general perception of legality. Everyone has to obey the law, and empowerment is self-explanatory. So, the non-discrimination is a huge deal. People with dementia, the fact that they will have this particularly relevant to them is legally enforceable. And as for the UN Convention, well, the brilliant work done elsewhere, I was to have a chat with Kate to anyone who about this, particularly Peter Midler, have they heard a particular convention wise? Well, quite a lot of don't knows in this column, but probably the exception is right to live independently. I don't know whether people guess that. That may be related to the rent-friends community on West Coast of Scotland in England, where right to live independently is a big deal under dementia-friendly communities. And that's the Alzheimer's ADI version of it. And I'd like to conclude with the right to health. Now, part of the reason I like ADI as opposed to some charities because they believe in equity, access, fairness, justice, a little more than some more name their names, consumers, organisations, and the fact that human rights, right to health is a basic human right, as is important for all of us. Don't read this, important in policy, and leading on for that is the huge policy of WHO, Sustainable Development Goals, and right to health, unsurprisingly, right to education, right to independent living, right to justice is prime up there, and we should be looking at places like Indonesia, as well as places like Canada, as well as places like the UK, as well as places like UK to implement these rights. So it is very much a mixed picture. But January's Mystic Glenn, as a joke for the English authors, well-known mystic, Glenn Rees, said, disability advocates have shown us the way. We need to ensure that the rights of people with dementia of all ages are protected and to ensure that they have the opportunity to participate in society as well as have a purpose in life, which is what we all seek in our own different ways. As Glenn said yesterday, that number one goal is inclusivity. We're all friends who have different ways of communicating, different nuances, but ideally inclusivity must be the goal, irrespective of views of friendliness. Yeah. So welcome to Budapest. That's my a contribution for this year.
Yeah.